What a weekend, bro.
The best weekend in fantasy football
That
history. I'm calling
that
it now, man. The best fucking I didn't have a dog in the fight, really, except for like seeing who I was gonna play in this matchups. But man, that was some insane fucking football last weekend.
bro, that it's like everybody that was meant to be in the semis, like the back and forth from both teams, like all the way up until Monday. Like insane, bro. I've never seen anything like it. Like for usually, in the semis, sorry, in the quarterfinals, usually you got like one team that gets blown out, but man.
Not only that, but you had three QBs going over 40. And more importantly,
Yeah.
every team in our league scored over 140 points, over 142. That was the least amount with Alex. Just an absolute fucking insane weekend of
like
football.
look at this, bro. 142.78 to 145.9 by Joaquin. And look, man, I just we're not gonna go through this, but is Joaquin the luckiest person in the world, bro? And let me start off by saying this. Last year, he punched his ticket to the championship round with the worst the worst thing I've ever seen. I thought it was the worst thing I've ever seen until I really broke down Alex's matchup. But last year, if you guys recall, I lost to Joaquin by 2 freaking yards. 2 yards. All
Mm-hmm.
right. When all Lamar Jackson had to do was kneel the ball 3 times, run the clock out. No, decided to run the football not once, not twice, but 3 freaking times. And on the third time,
So unnecessary, too. They
like,
were ahead.
why?
So unnecessary.
Why?
So
Why?
unnecessary.
So Joaquin goes to championship last year, right? This year, look at this score. What's the difference here? 2.12, 2.12 points.
Yeah.
I got that right?
Yeah.
2.12 points. And let me show you how Alex lost this. I don't give a crap about all this back and forth. We're talking about Josh Allen showed out 43.2, Lamar Jackson showed out. This is probably the greatest quarterback matchup we've seen in fantasy, like ever,
Yeah.
right? But and this hurts, man. I'm gonna play this clip. Alex, if you're watching, man, look away. You don't need to see this. Joaquin, if you're watching, please, man, look into the camera. Look into these eyes when you see this shit. All right, let's play this. All right, look at this. Look at this, metrics. No. No. What do you
No.
mean? This was 6 points. This was 6 points. Alex lost by less. No.
We lost the commish. The commish has left in anger, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, the commish lost by 2 yards.
Are
This
you
year,
kidding me?
Alex lost by 2 inches, man. And
Are
we've been
you?
talking about this in the group chat all year. These running backs who drop the ball before the end zone, and my boy Jonathan Taylor does Alex Brown, D'Lo
Oh
Brown,
God.
dirtier than anybody in fantasy football playoff
This
history.
is so dirty. This
Two
is so
inches.
dirty.
2 inches from the championship.
Look
It's
at look.
disgusting.
Oh, God, bro, I'm sick. I'm sick watching this because Joaquin is on the other fucking end of this. Of course, it has to be him, bro. Of course.
It had to be, man. What a fucking lucky play for Mexico to get him down to the next round. I mean, look, an outstanding performance for both of these teams. But when it comes down to literally a game of inches for our boy D'Lo, I mean, that's an all-time heartbreaker. That beats your heartbreaker last year.
That has to be the worst beat of all time, I think. Like if
Yeah,
we're being real, Alex wins with that,
two
and
inches
like
from glory. That's what Tyler tells Joss every night. 2 inches of glory right there.
unreal, man. So yeah, look, back and forth, right? And then Joaquin just got saved. Oh my, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And the fact that Joaquin shouldn't have even been in this game, bro. Who the hell picks up Cincinnati defense? One of the worst defenses in the NFL metrics. The worst secondary.
Against arguably the worst offense in the NFL.
The-
So it ended up working out for him with
oh my
4 picks.
gosh.
Oh, and 2 fumble recoveries, 1 TD on the defensive side. I mean, just insane. We were talking about last week, previewing this pod, how the wide receivers were better. The Amon-Ra Puka matchup was better than Scary Terry and Calvin. We were correct about that. We were correct that the running backs were better for Alex with Jahmyr Gibbs and Alvin Kamara. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, had Jonathan Taylor not dropped that football 2 inches from the end zone, Jahmyr Gibbs is getting all the work this coming week with Monty out. We predicted that, I think we both agreed that Alex was going to get it done, and 2 inches is the difference between a win and a loss.
I call that a Julian when it's 2 inches and it's the difference. That's a Julian special
Mm.
right there. Um, Unreal, Joaquin. Unreal, bro. This it has to end. This run has to end this weekend. We're gonna get into that matchup. Metrics, please, please, man.
I'll do my best. Last time I
What?
faced Mexico, he beat me a few weeks ago. Blew up, but we're gonna break down these players one by one, and I'm feeling pretty good about our matchup coming up. But getting into this other matchup, because it bears mentioning, another just insane week of
More luck.
football with Julian getting it done. 149.32, damn near 150 points to 147.06 by Javi. The Baba Yaga is dead. Javi Krueger has
God.
been defeated by
Bro,
Julian.
insane here because for a lot of reasons, a lot of things. This was the closer of the matchup. This was less than a little over 2 points, almost the same as the other one, right? Another two
Mm-hmm.
point game. This really was the heartbreaker, man. When has Adams even sniffed close to this line all year?
Never.
39.3.
And it
And
really
he
should have been 45 too. He got stopped on the end zone for his own, would have been his third. I mean, just a disgusting performance by Devontae Adams.
but what was even more disgusting, something that Freddy Javi brought up when I was with him yesterday, is this Washington game, right? So he lost 3 points at the end of this game. It knocked them down because I don't know if you saw New Orleans like ended up uh scoring a touchdown on a drive where the refs stopped the clock and
Ooh, a
there was
little
no
Vegas
timeouts left.
interference, perhaps.
Bro, I have never seen it. I had to watch replays of it, but yes. So the game should have been over. They shouldn't have even been able to score a touchdown on that drive. They did. That took them up to the next bracket, which dropped him down the points that he needed. So it's just an insane run.
And who would have
Really.
thought? Who would have thought Jared Goff would outscore both Allen and Jackson? Like an
Yeah.
insane. You get 47 points from Jared Goff and lose. What a
Almost.
fucking heartbreaker, bro.
Bro, when would you ever lose like almost 500 yards passing and 5 touchdowns and you still lose this game is insane. And in a game that Saquon Barkley, this is probably Barkley's lowest score, one of his lowest all season. But I mean, look at these numbers, bro. Only 3 times this year has he been under double digits, and this had to be the game of all
It's
games.
it's I mean, it's just terrible. And you know who Javi has really to blame for this outside of Devontae Adams? The whole New York Jets organization. Because it's really a problem with Woody Johnson, one of the most homoerotic names in the history of football. Woody Johnson, like, come on, man. But reports came out today that Woody Johnson turned down getting Jerry Jeudy on his team because his Madden rating wasn't high enough. He
Hey,
got Devontae Adams instead. Devontae Adams blows up for 39.3, and Javi Krueger is defeated. Woody Johnson just really put the wood on Javi this week.
Crazy, crazy, man. This was like I think it was called the third installment of the Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street series. I believe was the Dream something Dream where the people in the dream actually like realized that they could fight back. So
Hmm.
that's why that one's like I think Dream Walkers or Dream Weavers, some shit like that. But man, I guess that's how it went down for Javi. He just he had the perfect matchup because look, metrics. You got to admit we had Julian ranked as the worst team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And I still believe that like with my whole heart. This was just one of those lucky breaks, get you in the next round. But man, you give Adams like just a decent game. You give Adams 20. You take away 20 from this, and like this would have been a lackluster performance, man.
just an insane week from top to bottom. And this was close all the way up until the end. It really
Hmm.
was because there was Monday night games that ultimately decided this. Two Monday night games, with Brock Bowers ultimately getting it done, and putting 5 points up, and that really was a difference maker too in a game this close.
Insane, man. So with that, here is a look at our semifinals, baby. The semifinals preview. We have the 1 seed, uh, Tyler, versus the 6 seed, of course, Julian from winning that upset. And then we have the 2 seed, Metrics, who's just coming off a bye. Is your team well rested, bro? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, both Tyler and I's teams really didn't show up last week. We both would have been easily eliminated by any of these four teams. It wouldn't have even been close. So I hope my guys are well rested going into this week.
Uh, so versus Mexico, of course. Who's this run has to end, bro. So let's dive right in. This is what we're here for, man. So we got Julian the 6 seed versus the 1 seed in Tyler. Which kick it off at the QB positions, man.
Yes, sir.
Bake.
So you got Baker Mayfield at Dallas, a
Mhm.
Dallas team that's looked, mediocre on defense, but still has your marquee players like Micah Parsons, who's going to be harassing Baker throughout the entire day. And Jordan Love Monday night versus New Orleans. Who do you like between these two guys?
Jesus, man. It really depends on which defense comes out. Like if Dallas does not step up at home, I mean Baker Mayfield is just coming off a 4 touchdown performance versus a very solid and respected defense in the Chargers. So he lit them up. Dallas really doesn't have anybody healthy on defense. And then you got Jordan Love on the other end playing against a very hurt New Orleans who's going to be missing a lot of key players as well. Um, I'm going to go with just on this edge. I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield on Sunday night, man.
Yeah, give me Jordan Love between these two. The reason being, I think that New Orleans is vulnerable against the rushing QBs, which was, Jaden Daniels did pretty well. He carried the ball for 11 touches last week in addition to his throwing yards and got 66 yards out of that. We know Jordan Love's somewhat mobile QB as well. Perhaps as many targets in Green Bay as Jaden has in Washington, but for Scary Terry. So yeah, I think this is a really, really close one. I think you could go either way, but I lean towards Love.
Okay. The wide receiver core next. Adams at Los Angeles Rams. Jefferson at Seattle. Road game windy. Heard there's going to be rain in that. And then we
Hmm.
got Cooper Cup on the other side and Garrett Wilson. Um, he's going to be watching that game probably, Tyler. Just a random Jets LA Rams. He has to be watching that game.
Yeah, and you got two Jets receivers going against each other. For me, I think it's clear you got to go Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson here, just based on really last week in general and the season as a whole. When you got a guy that put up 39 last week in Devontae Adams versus a respectable 13, 14 points for Garrett Wilson, I believe last week. But Cooper Cup had 0 catches last week. He got me
Yeah.
eliminated in my 3 versus 6 league. As the commission knows, and some of our listeners know, I got 2 bye weeks in 2 leagues and 1 third place. Got my cheeks my back blown out last week on the 3 versus 6. It was something like 160 to 105. It was disgusting, and a large part due to Cooper Cup. I am a little bit worried that Justin Jefferson is in the rain in Seattle, but looking at the Devontae Adams Justin Jefferson duo, I think they're going to perform better than the Cooper Cup Garrett Wilson duo.
Now, it's only because I wish Tyler would have swapped his lineup, but I guess he wants Jamar Chase in the flex. For us, we have to count it as a flex, but I can't you can't forget about Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good
I'm
point. Good point.
I'm just gonna go with I'm gonna side with Ty's receivers on this one. Just because I think there's only one way to go for Cooper Cup this week, man. And there's nothing worse you can do than put up a zero. Like, well, actually, you can go negative. Imagine a fumble and then go negative. But
Yeah,
I expect Cup to just have at least a decent game. He's gonna catch one ball. Look at me, metrics. He's catching one ball.
I sure hope so. I mean, he's not. I have no shares of Cooper Cup left. He sent my ass packing last week, but yeah. So let's get into these running backs. I think this is kind of a clear favorite.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson, formerly of the Commission's team, and Joe Mixon against a really stout Kansas City defensive front line. So Kansas City's sneakily one of the best rush defenses in football. And Jerome Ford, a waiver wire pickup, and Josh Jacobs. To me, I think Bijan's the dude against a New York Giants team. Like that's looking like a real prime matchup for him.
Even with
Uh,
my Penix in this weekend.
even with Penix in, yeah. I still think Bijan's going to perform better than Julian's best player, best running back, which right now is Josh Jacobs, who's had a sneaky great season against a New Orleans team that's not super great either. I think that's going to be a good game for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
But I still think Bijan and Mixon get the edge here.
This is why I lean on Baker. Going back up top real quick, just because I think that Green Bay is going to run New Orleans into the ground. I don't think they're going to be throwing as much. They're not going to need to in this game. I do think Josh Jacobs is going to have a good game, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Mixon and Bijan. So yeah, I'm siding with Robinson. And question, man, side question: if Tyler wins this whole thing, do I get like a quarter of a ship? Is that how it works? Like at least like I don't know, like an eighth of a ship for
No championship rings for those trades, unfortunately. Yeah, so you're out of luck there. But getting into these tight end positions, we got an injured David Njoku against a really bad Cincinnati team, or Brock Bowers versus Jacksonville. I know the commish has thoughts on this because he got Njoku's nuts all over his head and knocked him out a few weeks ago out of the playoffs and out of the season. So, who do you got between these two guys?
I'm this is such an easy call for me, bro. It's Brock Bowers 1000%. Like Brock Bowers is like third in the NFL in receptions. Like not just tight ends. Overall, like wide receivers and everything. Like Brock Bowers is getting the ball and Jacksonville is booty, man.
Yeah, Jacksonville's trash. Brock Bowers is a generational talent at tight end. Even though he's had a couple duds in the last 5 weeks, he's had a couple single-digit games from a fantasy perspective. I think what bears mentioning here is that Cleveland is making another switch at the quarterback position
Yes.
to a former Bruin, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Not really a good NFL prospect. Wasn't really a good college football player either, but kind of fit the mold of the mobile quarterbacks that you've seen have some success at the NFL level. So ended up getting drafted and is going to get some starting time on a garbage team this year. But yeah, give me Brock Bowers 10 times out of 10.
Um
This has got to be a fucking joke. This is he really starting? What's his first name? Kendre Miller?
I have no idea. But what did somebody once Kendra Miller? What did somebody tell me? You got to be crazy to pick up somebody off the waiver and throw them in your lineup in the semifinals. Quoted Tyler there, but I mean, when you feel it, bro. If this is what he's feeling, throwing him in the flex, then by all means, go ahead, man. But this is an easy call for me. Jamar Chase on the other side, like it's
Yeah,
not even
let's
close.
assume let's assume for the sake of argument, Jamar Chase is really slotted in as a wide receiver one. He is the wide receiver one. Let's bring down a Cooper Cup or a Garrett Wilson
Let's bring down
against the
Wilson.
guys that Julian has, like a maybe a Javante or I don't know if he runs Juwan Jennings again after last week or a Pollard.
Honestly,
I think either way, I'm still leaning Tyler.
yeah, it would be really close with Juwan. Like, say Tyler brought down Wilson, and it was Wilson versus Juwan. This would be like a coin flip, I think.
Yeah, I mean either one could catch a TD in
It'd be
theory,
close.
be
We're not
closer.
setting anybody's lineups, ladies and gentlemen, but
We are not, but all right.
uh,
So the moment of truth, Kamish.
Tyler,
Yeah, I think this one's unfortunately our boy
please.
Ty. I think it is. And the reason being that I just think the team has more depth. Jamar Chase is an all-world wide receiver. Bijan Robinson's an all-world running back. When you got those two guys in the playoffs, you feel pretty comfortable facing a team with a Jerome Ford and a Kendre Miller. So give me Tyler in this matchup. But
Please. And there's two JJs left. I don't like that. I wanted at least one JJ left, after the break, but uh we already talked about Joaquin's lucky break and Julian, another lucky person, another J. The lucky J's now. There's two lucky J's. Please, man, I need you guys to just handle business. Tyler, if you don't want to get made fun of anymore and you want to step up and you want to get your first ring and be a man, this is the first step right here, Tyler. Do not lose to Julian. Make it out of this round, please. Please, Tyler. Hold it
yeah,
down for
and
me.
I'll be rooting for Julian because if I win, I'd rather play Julian. So, Julian,
That's a good point.
you got one fan in your corner here, but I do think Tyler is going to win. Unfortunately, just by the depth of the team. Getting into this next matchup, I think a much closer matchup between the two. Um, this is really going to be a kind of a crapshoot, I think. But we'll break down a position by position, then we'll give you our overall prediction. Starting off, this is a tough one, I think, to start off with. Lamar Jackson versus Pittsburgh, who
Yeah.
last time he played Pittsburgh did not do so well. And TJ Watt is active this week, so good news for your boy in one sense. From the quarterback position, going to be bad news as we get into the running back arguments. But Lamar Jackson versus Pittsburgh on Saturday, or Jaden Daniels versus a pretty stout Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you got between these two guys?
Man. Uh did we get Saturday games last year, man? I feel like it's like
Always the week before Christmas, yeah.
always the week before Christmas. Um Damn, man. Both, what's funny is both of these games are like division. Like a lot is on the line for actually both teams. These are like possible playoff implications. This has major importance. Um, they just played each other recently. Fuck, man, this one's tough. But just and they both run. I don't know, man. Okay. Give me Lamar Jackson by a slight edge metrics. Slight edge.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but I agree with you as well. I think Lamar Jackson is going to perform better when both of these teams played their current opponents in previous games. Jaden Daniels put up 15 points against Philly. That was at Philly as opposed to being at home this time. And Lamar Jackson at home put up 16, I believe, 16.8, something like that, against Pittsburgh last time, being at home versus away. So it's a real close matchup, but Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback between these two. It's really just going to come down to who plays better on Saturday against two stout defenses. Right now, I lean Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Why?
Getting into these wide receivers, um, man, the injury bug has really struck the metrics
Man.
at the worst time, man. I always get the injuries like right as I'm going into the playoffs. That may be the true curse. The metrics has got the Thursday night curse. Everybody knows the metrics is cursed on Thursday nights. But every year it seems like I get into the playoffs, I have marquee players getting injured. And this year just so happens to be George Pickens, who's been an outstanding wide receiver for me, out with the hamstring. So I'm running my boy CeeDee Lamb against Tampa Bay, Devontae Smith against Washington, and Amon versus on the other side, Amon Ra at Chicago and Puka Nakua at the New York Jets. Who do you got between these two guys?
Uh, I mean, it's hard not to choose Joaquin's set of receivers over you. Eh, this is this is Joaquin's edge, I think, this week. Um, I don't think Amon Ra is going to put up this 30-point performance again. Um, but just based off, I got to go with Joaquin's receivers here. Damn, so far you're down, Metric. You're down 2 points to none right now, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree, and I'm not going to argue with you here either. You I think Devontae Smith is going to overscore his projection just because there's a lot of injuries to the Eagles right now. I know they don't have a tight end currently, not their starting tight end. And then your boy AJ Brown has been a little bit hobbled as well. Devontae Smith has looked pretty good over the past couple weeks,
Yeah,
but you can't pick a Devontae over a Puka Nakua, the Samoan Jerry Rice, and this is Amon Ross been outstanding too, but goes against one of the best secondaries in football with
yeah.
probably going to get blanket coverage from Jalen Johnson, who's probably a top 5 cornerback in the league, maybe top 3, arguably. Just signed like a 4-year extension in 2023, I believe. Jalen Johnson is an outstanding corner. So we would hope that he's going to draw some blanket coverage from Puka, or excuse me, from Amon Ra on that matchup. But yeah, CeeDee
It's
Lamb still has
close.
a garbage QB throwing to him. Amon Ra's got his guy. Puka's got his guy. Give me those two guys.
But even with Gar, I mean, he's been solid, except for this game, of course, against the Giants, which was like, you know,
He injured his shoulder. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, he's had like, look at the receptions. I mean, I like what Cooper Rush is doing with CD. At least he's getting volume. He's getting targets. Um, Running backs, it's easy for me, man. This next section here, you got Chan and Derrick Henry, King Henry, who I actually don't know what he did. Look at something's got to give this game, right? So only 10 points against Pittsburgh last time, and Lamar, had like a decent game. Um, I think he gets more volume this game. I mean, he only had 13 carries that game, but I think he gets involved more and involved more early. Damn, that's exciting, bro. We're already gonna have like juggernauts playing on Saturday. Like,
Yeah, Saturday's a huge game with yeah, the Pittsburgh Baltimore game obviously, but also the Kansas City matchup is super important in uh the other matchup as well. Like that Saturday game is going to have a lot of players on Tyler's squad. But yeah, I lean HN and Henry here. Bucky Irving's a little hobbled. He's still splitting carries to a certain extent with Rashad
yeah,
and Swift, versus a Detroit team. I think they're going to probably be behind the vast majority of that game, so going to be throwing a lot. I think this one I lean towards myself, HN
two
and
to one,
Henry.
2 to 1, 2 to 1. Next stop, we got the tight ends, and look, I promised a lot of things, man. All right, this is put it down, okay. Trey McBride is going absolutely nuclear this weekend. You get like he gets all the catches, all the yards, but he's yet to find the end zone. Our boy Kyler Murray went to social media to say, "Don't worry, yours is coming." And I believe it is this. It's going to start off this weekend, man. Maybe even 2 touchdowns for McBride, which would be a game changer. So earlier when we were talking about the wide receivers, how we lowered your tier a little bit because of Devontae Smith. Honestly, Trey McBride is a wide receiver. He is a freak, like at the position. He gets lots of receptions. He gets lots of yards. He's been cooking. So for that reason alone, like he could be your wide receiver too, honestly, behind Lamb. So I think this is a big upgrade and a big advantage for you, Metrics.
Thank
is
you.
this spot
Thank you
right
for
here.
that trade. I appreciate you sending McBride my way because
Fuck.
I'm going to need him this time of the season. Yeah, I agree. I think McBride's the better between these tight ends. I think everybody would agree with that. The one caveat in Mexico's corner is that it is going to be cold in Carolina, projected to be about 35 degrees during that game. And historically, Kyler doesn't play super well in cold weather. But we'll see. I think he's going to feed him the ball. I think he understands that he needs to get him more involved in the offense. Dalton Kincaid just doesn't have the resume that Trey McBride has. Trey McBride has virtually never scored in the single digits, but for a couple injured games where he's had a little bit of an ankle issue here and there throughout the season. Really, really solid season for him. So give me
And
Trey
add
McBride.
and add a touchdown to any of these weeks, bro, and then and redo the numbers. Like it's nuts. Like he should be here well over 20, here almost 30, here almost 20, and here almost 20. Like yeah, it's coming. It's coming this week. I'm calling it. So that's like a 2-2. This is the matchup here, bro. The other one's lopsided, I think, on paper, in my
Yeah.
opinion, but who knows what's gonna happen. But this one on paper is hella close, hella tight. And I just like that we get Lamar, we get two players on his team on Saturday, and then we get two players from your team on Saturday. So
Yeah. And look, well, I have something to say about that in particular in my prediction, but before I get into that, the flex position, I think, this is 2-2. I think I lean myself in the flex position. Kenneth Walker the third is finally healthy, ladies and gentlemen. He's had kind of a nagging calf injury, but practiced in full today. Uh, Javi's boy Chardonnay did not practice with an
the
oblique
fine
issue.
wine.
So Kenneth Walker will be playing on Sunday, and when he's healthy, has been one of the better running backs in football. He's just had those injuries year after year. Going against a Minnesota team that's decent on defense, but really an
He's
offensive
matchup proof.
powerhouse. He's matchup proof, and then you
Like
got Drake
look at
London
this.
versus the New York Giants, which is going to be a good matchup as well. But yeah, I lean my boy KW3 on this one.
I lean KW3 easy, and I think it's a landslide for me because like I said, matchup proof against great defenses, right? So 31 bomb against Detroit, and then Atlanta's was good against defense also, 22 points. But not only that is Penix, man. It's starting this weekend. We don't know what we're gonna get from the rookie.
Yeah, we
Like
have no idea who he's going to throw to, who he's been
yeah,
practicing
who's he
with.
gonna like? Like
He might be lighting up Kyle Pitts on
yeah,
dump off passes.
exactly. So with a rookie quarterback starting, of course, the Giants, they have nothing to play for, but they low key have a nice pass defense, man. I expect them to just get a lot of pressure, try to pressure him into making, some making bad throws, man. It's his first game. You can't expect much. Or he can come out and have an RG3 type introduction game and just go nuclear. We don't know. And for that reason, I'm going with Kenneth Walker the third, and that was the tiebreaker for me, man. Bring it home. Metrics, please. Come on. It
Yeah,
ends. It ends this weekend, man. Please, man.
we will see. And
Please.
you know what? This is what I wanted to add before I make my official prediction. Our matchup with Mexico and myself really came down to one play last time. And that was a play in which Derrick Henry had broke a 25, 30-yard TD, got called back on a hold, and then they drove up and Lamar Jackson snuck it in. So ultimately, that was a huge difference maker. So um, I hope that Henry gets the rushing goal line looks. I hope that they don't go with Lamar Jackson. Henry has proven to be kind of the safest option at the goal line in football outside of the tush push. So feed my boy Henry at the line. I'm predicting myself to win.
Let's go. I got your
Let's
back.
fucking go. This is going to be a good matchup.
Fuck
Mexico is
Joaquin.
Joaquin is
Fuck Joaquin.
outstanding team. Outstanding team. I'm just going to say that up front. It would not shock me if he wins this matchup, but I do lean towards my matchups just just by virtue of depth, man. It's nice having a Trey
Let's go,
McBride
man.
and a
Let's go.
KW3.
I'm hyped. Now I'm hyped now. I'm out, but I'm hyped. One last thing I will say, if if somehow it ends up being Julian versus Joaquin that make it and play against each other, payments are deferred until July 2025. Hey man, my daughter's about to be born. I'm busy. You know, if you hit me up and I don't text you back, I'm sorry. I'm busy. If Metrics and Ty make it, y'all hit me up on a separate chat. I might see it. I might maybe I can do a January 1st, 2025 type thing, you know.
The
But yeah,
Metrics
that
has got a wedding to pay for, so yeah, I could use every dollar out there. But Kamish, that bears mentioning is I did have at least two people in my DMs asking what the payouts are for this season. I know maybe you
the
don't know
freestyle.
now.
It's a
Uh,
freestyle.
it's a freestyle now, but that's a decision I think you would agree needs to be made before
Yeah, yeah.
Sunday, before these
Yeah.
matchups really
I'll
happen,
send
because
out
nobody had anybody Thursday night, so
yeah, yeah.
we should be deciding before Sunday.
I'll send out a text by Saturday morning before kickoff of this game, because since it does have implications on um and maybe I'll just create a group chat for the four people that are left in it and then just kind of break down the numbers. But I just look at whatever it was last year. I gotta look it up though. No changes. And then I think $50 from the pot went to the commissioner for putting up with everybody's bullshit. So you know, I'll set that up and then yeah, man, good luck. Good luck to
Thank
Metrics.
you.
Tyler, good luck. Do your thing, boys. Please. All
It's
right.
gonna and a little preview. As everybody in the league knows, our commish is expecting a baby girl as soon as
When?
potentially a week from today or less.
Yeah, a week from
Um,
today. No,
yeah, well, a week
yesterday.
from
Sorry.
yesterday, yeah, is when potentially Myra might be due. Let me know in the group chat, all of those who listen to it, if you'd like to see the metrics run a solo pod breaking down
They're gonna say
the
yes.
championship match and the third,
They hate me.
the bronze medal match. That's something I could figure out. Maybe hop on with some of you guys, whoever's in the championship. If you want to join me as a special guest, let me know.
Ooh, yeah, that
Otherwise,
sounds lit. Actually, take a little
yeah,
break. But if Arya's not here by then, I'm sorry you get me for another week, ladies and gentlemen. But if Arya is here, then Mark is more than welcome to do his own show, baby, for that week. All right, I'll be watching. But good luck, man.
thank you, sir. Good
Metrics,
luck to
please,
all the remaining
please,
teams. I'm doing my best. Doing
please,
my
man,
best. Good luck to all the remaining teams. RIP to those that are no longer with us in the fantasy playoffs.
pay
And
up.
everybody have a happy holidays, hopefully with a little extra money in your
Oh,
pockets for those four
bitch.
remaining teams.
All right, man. Good luck. Later.
All right, peace.